knew these people, like they were real people. And so I thought it would be fun to take those two characters out of that situation and then put them back together years later in another set of circumstances, you know, make just write a story that's kind of fun, not too serious, because, you know, River Road was pretty serious and I didn't want to do anything like that. I thought it would be a lot of fun just to take the two characters and give them a fun adventure to enjoy. So I started to write a follow-up book. Now, I thought it would be a lot shorter, and I still think it will be. I don't think it'll be anywhere near as long as River Road is. River Road, it took me 17 video segments to read the entire thing. If you're interested in it, I bet it's about 40 hours of reading for me to read that book. The entire thing is in my River Road playlist if you're interested in reading it. I don't have it published or anything. I never pursued that. I really just kind of did it for myself. It's not the first book I've ever written. I've actually, not counting Holiday, I've written 3 books. I wrote one titled Patchwork. Back when I was in my early 20s, I wrote a totally fiction story. Basically looking at how my life would have been different if I had married the guy I was engaged to in high school and not gone to college. Kind of like, what would my life have looked like? Maybe. So I wrote that book in my early 20s. And then I wrote a follow-up to that called The Thin Line, which takes that character, and again, you go forward several years into her future, and it's just an incident where she's kidnapped and has to get out of being kidnapped and dealing with some pretty evil people. But again, it's all just fiction. I just wrote it for fun. I wrote that one in my mid-20s. I wrote it right after I finished Patchwork. And I think each of those are maybe 300 pages long. I don't know, like typed a single space. But I never did anything with those. And honestly, they're not that great. I mean, they're very rough. I mean, they're just not that great. Now, River Road, I was very proud of that. I think I learned a lot from writing the first 2. I said, I'm going to finish this story this year. I'm going to finish it. Because I've been working on it for a very long time, an embarrassingly long time. But things in my life got kind of complicated for a while, and I just kind of put it away. And I just didn't want to work on it because there was just other stuff going on in my life that kind of took precedence to that. So I just let it go for a little bit. But I want to get it done this year. But the part I've been working on lately, I think, is what led to me having that dream that I had last night. Now, I don't want to spoil it for you. If you want to listen to River Road, that's awesome. But this is a big spoiler if you do want to listen to it, so don't listen anymore. Skip ahead a minute. Aiden is one of the main characters, and he is an angel. But he's a bad angel. He's an angel of Satan. You don't know that through most of River Road. You don't know that about him. You know he's an angel, but you don't know he's an agent of Satan. You just assume he's, like a good angel or whatever, but he's not. But the thing is, he's actually not that bad of a guy. And what he does is, his job basically is to hang out on Earth, and agents of Satan are assigned certain people who are beneficial to whatever the devil wants. And his job is to be a salesman. He has to convince them to sell their soul to Satan in exchange for whatever they want. But a lot of times, the people who sell their souls find out that the thing that they thought they really wanted is the thing that ultimately will destroy their lives when they get it. And I think it remains to be seen how it's going to work out here. But in Holiday, he is working with someone. But there's a lot we don't know, and I can't get into details. Yeah, there's a lot I can't say. But he's working with someone, and his job is to find out what your wildest dreams are. What do you really desire? And then he has to convince you that, he will say, I can give you that. Whatever you want, I can get it for you. Whatever, anything on earth, anything you want, it can be yours, no matter what. And so it's just the notion of be careful what you wish for, because you might get it. So anyway, I've been working on that, and I will tell you this about Holiday. If you listen to River Road and you were interested in that at all, in Holiday, you are really going to get to know Aiden a lot better. You're going to see a whole side of him that you've never seen before. A couple of times you're going to see a very beautiful side and a very scary side. He is a very dynamic character. He is amazing. I know it sounds crazy because it's all made up in my head, but it takes my breath away. Some of the things that he has done and some of the things that have happened with him, it's captivating. I don't know how else to describe it, really. So you're going to get to know Aiden a lot better. And I have found a new level of respect for him. There are some really remarkable things about him, and you're going to learn one thing about him that will absolutely break your heart. I can't even talk about it. It's awful. Oh, it's awful. There is a very heartbreaking aspect of his character that, oh my God, it's unreal. I didn't see that coming. I didn't even know about it before I started writing this story. And you're also going to get to know Liddy better, and you're going to learn a lot about her too. Liddy will surprise you. There are some things about her that you would never guess, and you're going to learn all about that too. And Liddy's going to learn some things about herself that she didn't know either. And it's kind of sad. Honestly, there are a lot of really sad aspects to the story, and that's been one of the problems as far as writing it, because honestly, some of it is kind of depressing, and I don't even want to sit down and write it because it's sad, but I'm gonna push through. I thought during the whole pandemic I would have plenty of time to work on it and I would get more done, but I didn't. it started out really nice. It actually started out quite pleasant. It was one of those dreams that was so full of details and it felt so real. You know, it was beautiful. I mean, I could see every part of it like I was really there. I was at this man's house. It was like this super rich, eccentric, kind of like an Elon Musk kind of guy. It wasn't him. I don't know who this person was. I never really got to see his face, but I was aware in the dream that it was his house. It was this big, beautiful mansion. And he was having a dinner party, this big dinner party. And everybody is dressed very elegantly, beautiful, you know, just beautiful dresses and tuxedos. And everybody's dressed up and it's very elegant. And we had this sumptuous dinner in this big, beautiful dining hall and this big, long table, and everything was decorated so nice. It was gorgeous. Everything was just beautiful. I don't know what I was wearing. I wasn't really aware. In some dreams, I can kind of look and see what I look like, but I couldn't see what I have no idea. I'm hoping I was dressed for the occasion. But so we had this wonderful dinner. And after the dinner, you know, everybody's just kind of milling around and talking. It's pouring down rain now. Wow. That's the wind blowing the rain up against the house. Wow. He's out there with it. Oh my God. He's out there with his table saw in the driveway. I hope he gets it back inside. That just came out of nowhere. I might get swept away in a minute. Wow. Hang on, let's wait for this to blow over. Okay, I think it's died down a little bit. You know what? I just peeked out the window over here. He left the table saw out there. It's getting rained on right now. That can't be good for it. He doesn't really take care of his stuff. He leaves all kinds of stuff out like that, and then he just throws it away. He won the lottery, though, allegedly, and I think he literally has money to burn and doesn't really It was so weird. It just looked odd because, they're in their formal wear and they're getting strapped into these seats, and it was just very strange looking. And the rest of us are just, kind of standing on the side watching these people get strapped into this thing. It had a big door, this big door that swung up, and they could go inside. And it was very spacious, and there was plenty of room. This room was enormous. Hang on a second. Sorry. I'm sorry, I have to keep stopping. My battery was running low. I just realized it wasn't plugged up. Okay, so they get into the machine, and he's helping. He's up there by himself. He doesn't have anybody working with him. It's just him. And he personally, buckles them in, attaches the locks and everything, and they click into place. And he brings, for each of them, he brings the headset, because it's kind of like back behind the seat. He brings it forward, puts it on their head, and locks and clicks everything into place. And so they're all strapped in, and they're giggling and smiling like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Kind of like people getting on a roller coaster would do. And he's, oh, it's okay, just relax. It's going to be all right, no problem. You're going to love it. I promise you're going to really enjoy this ride. And they're, you can't really see their faces anymore. It's like the headset basically covers most of their face except for their mouth. You can see like from here down, that was all you could see of their face. And when you have the headset on, you can't move your head. And he told them that. He said, now you will not be able to move your head. You won't be able to move it side to side, up or down. Your head will not move. So don't try to do it. It won't move as long as you have the headset on. And God, this was all so real. It's like it really happened. And so, of course, after he gets them hooked in, one of them asks, what exactly does this thing do? What's gonna happen? And he said, the dream machine is amazing. The dream machine can read your mind, it can read your thoughts, your brain waves, and see your greatest desires. It can see the things that you want the most in the whole world. And it will take you on a virtual reality experience you will never forget, because it will allow you in virtual reality to experience and have everything you ever wanted. And it's everything that you ever wanted that's buried deep in your subconscious, whether you've ever spoken it out loud or not. The machine can pick it up, and it will give it to you in virtual reality, of course. And so they're all excited, like, ooh, that sounds amazing. He said, oh yeah. So he closes the door, and you can kind of So for about a minute or so, they looked like they were having the time of their life. And then the machine would go way up and then drop down really fast and go this way and flip over. So you couldn't see their face. All you could see was their mouth. You couldn't see their mouth all the time. But when you could see it, it looked like they were having a good time. And we were all like, wow, I can't wait to try that. That looks great. And then it kind of took a turn. Not literally, but it just figuratively. The lights changed. They kind of got, I don't know how to describe it. I don't know if the color changed or if the brightness changed. It's like you could sense it in the room that something was happening. You could feel this heaviness in the air. The machine wasn't really doing anything different. It was way up. And you could almost feel this sense of, oh no, oh my God. And it slammed back down, and they were horrified. They were screaming. It was muffled, but you could hear them screaming, and you could see the mouths and screaming. And this is a very interactive experience, as the guy, the host, was talking to us just like nothing was happening. It was almost like Fantasy Island. If you ever watched that show back in the 70s, it was kind of like Fantasy Island. And so he's talking, and we're all watching it, and he's just telling us little tidbits of information about it, like how long it took him to build it, how much it cost, just all these little things. And the first time it slammed down and we saw they were all screaming, he said, now this is a new level of virtual reality. If, say for example, you're stabbed in your adventure, you will feel it, you will get cut, and you will bleed. Isn't that something? And we're all going, what? Are you serious? You're not serious. A virtual, it can't do that. How does that work? You can't get cut and bleed in real life from that. And he said, oh, but you can. And so we're watching, and this machine is swooping and spinning, and you could just hear the people in there, just these ear-piercing screams. But it's muffled, but you can definitely hear, and every time you see them, they're trying, their arms are free. They're grabbing at the harnesses, they're grabbing at the thing, but everything is locked. They are completely strapped in and locked down. And he kind of had this smile on his face because we're looking at him like, do something. And he said, oh, those straps don't come undone. It's for their own safety, because could you imagine if they unstrap now, they would get slung around in there, and that would be very dangerous. And they're just, you can see them whenever he would come down to where they were just clawing at the harnesses, grabbing the headset, like they could not free themselves, and they're trying desperately to do it, and they're just screaming and, help me, oh my God. And then you noticed that they were bleeding. They were all three. One of them had blood coming out of her mouth. The other one looked like his neck was cut. They were bleeding and screaming. There was blood all over the inside. And it was terrifying, and we tried to leave. We ran for the door, and the door slammed shut and locked, and we could not leave the room. And just as the ride, it finally just slowly came to a stop. And we just looked, and everyone inside is just motionless. They looked dead. They were not moving. They weren't doing anything. They were slumped in their seats, and they weren't trying to do anything. And we're all just terrified. All of us. It's just, everybody's freaking out. And right at that moment, he turned and looked at me and said, he went to take my hand. He said, it's your turn. And that's when I woke up. I was absolutely horrified. I thought I was going to have a panic attack. Like, I was hyperventilating when I woke up. I can still see him reaching for my hand with that smile on his face and saying, it's your turn. Oh my God. There was no escape. It was horrible, and I could not go back to sleep. Oh wow. That was one of the scariest dreams I've had in a while. I mean, it wasn't like your regular episode of The Twilight Zone, like, the old episodes back